Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a long time. My name's Emotep the Mummy, and I do a series called Sexism in Video Games. Now, this is originally it was going to be a 6-part web series. I got to part 1 and kind of fell off for about 3 years. Yeah, 3 years, I believe. I don't know how many parts it's going to be at this point. I know at the very least 6 parts. But there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and I'm not going to limit myself to 6 parts. The first thing I want to talk about is the most recent event that kind of brought me back. It's the Twitch Safety Advisory Council member, Ferociously Steph, calling gamers white supremacists and threatening to go after shitty people. Obviously, any sane person knows that all gamers aren't white supremacists. I mean, hell, all gamers aren't white, so why say that? Well, it's the oogie boogie word, right? It's the woo, it's the scary left-wing word to make everyone on the right scared. Most people who game, well, not most people, I don't fucking know, but you know not everyone who games is a right-winger. I could tell you that from experience, and I'm sure anyone who games knows that. So why say that? It's the buzzword. It's the word to let you know to get back in line. Get your ass back in line. There's a huge group of people. Started around the 80s. Probably, I'd say mostly the 80s. Who unplugged. You know, everyone up to that point, since TV had been around, sat on the couch and watched TV. Like a fucking potato. Just sitting there, letting all that bullshit soak into your brain. Well, there's a huge group of people who unplugged from that. And the people who run shit don't like that. They don't like that you think independently from what they're feeding you. And hell, the people who are being fed the shit don't like it either. They want everyone to agree with this worldview, and it's a really fucked up worldview where everything is sexist, no matter what. It's sexist. I mean, that's the Anita Sarkeesian quote, right? Everything is racist, everything is sexist, and you have to point it all out. Bullshit. Those words are subjective. You can't objectively say anything. Now, there's a lot of things a lot of people will agree are racist or are sexist, but you can't objectively say that anything is. So to say everything is fucking asinine. It's a stupid statement. But the reason they're all calling you white supremacist, it's not because you follow Hitler. It's not because you have a swastika tattoo. No, it's because you don't agree with this very, very narrow worldview. That's it. You broke the programming. You escaped the conditioning. Congratulations. If you're here, it's because you're looking for information on this. You probably don't like being called a white supremacist. Not many people do. Now, some people do, but, well, that's them. Most people don't like that. I don't like it because I'm not. I'm not a white supremacist. White supremacy doesn't make a lot of sense to me, personally, because I think to have any kind of ideology like that, you'd have to be some sort of ethnically pure person. And let's be honest, in the United States, we don't have that. We haven't had that for a long time. You know, you got everybody's 15% something, 30% something else. It's kind of an old, outdated ideology. But it's still the good buzzword, right? Gotta sling that around. The next couple of videos, besides really going into what this whole thing means with this person being at such a high level of Twitch, I want to talk about fans, video game fans versus game journalists, the disconnect there. And developers are ignoring that shit. They're ignoring it at their own detriment. I don't know what's going to happen to Naughty Dog, but it's going to be interesting to watch. Maybe other developers will take a look at that. But critics aren't your customers. Like, can't say that enough. It's not like the old days in the 90s where you really relied on that write-up in a video game journal. That shit don't matter. All they've got to do is drop a trailer on YouTube and you're going to have fans talking about it. I would way rather listen to a fan's, at least their anticipation or maybe even their review, than some critic, actual video game journalist. Because video game journalists are run by this thing called critical theory. It's bullshit. Critical theory is tearing apart media. That's the literal definition, I think. I don't want to say literal definition because someone would be like, you're fucking wrong. That's not what it says. I looked it up on Wikipedia's. Now, I don't know if it's the literal definition, but that's literally what you do. I took the shit in college. There's feminist critical theory. You've got Lacanian critical theory, Marxist critical theory. I'm sure there were others, but those are the ones that really stuck out and were taught a lot. Big surprise, right? Critical theory doesn't say anything about the game itself. It doesn't say anything about the creators. What critical theory tells me as a reader is what the critic thinks about the game, and what they think about it, what these people think about these games, gives us a really disturbing look into their mindset. They have this weird mindset where they find all these sexual themes in video games. Like these really, really depraved themes of power structures and masculinity powering over the women's. Most people don't see that. Most people pick up the game and they're like, hey, all right, this is cool. Yeah, that's a little much. That might be a little much for me, but it's still a fun game. I won't play it. They don't go into this, oh my gosh, you can't do that to a woman. Not bullshit. It's a fictional character on a screen. If you don't like it, don't play it. Isn't that the thing now? Like with all these shitty movies, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Yep, we'll see how that mindset has worked out, right? The second thing I want to talk about, or at least make videos about, are specific analysis of games that are traditionally viewed as sexist by critical theorists or game journalists. I call them critical theorists because that's what they are. Maybe showing how easy it is to apply critical theory to these games. It's nothing. There's nothing to it. It takes nothing to complain about something. It takes no skill whatsoever. The mind-boggling thing, though, is that these developers are starting to listen to these complaints because they've gotten crafty. They've gone about complaining in a way to where if you don't listen to our complaints, you're a sexist, racist, homophobe, you name it. Don't listen to it. Listen to your fans. I don't want to see the industry collapse. I don't think it ever will. But man, if censorship gets bad enough, it sure as hell will. Which brings me to the last point. The last thing I want to really cover in my videos. And that's direct counters to these people who are calling for censorship. Some people don't believe that these calls for censorship exist. They don't believe or they haven't heard about these direct calls for censoring video games. It boggles people's minds. They refuse to believe it. They're like, no, that's not happening. That's ridiculous. Why would you call to censor a game? If you don't like it, don't buy it. I agree. And that's why I agree that these opinions need to be out there. Feminists need to analyze video games. Marxists, okay, analyze away. That's fine. But when you cross that line from analyzing something to calling for it to be censored or changed, that's censorship. That's wrong. We don't do that here. This is America. We don't do that here. That's why when people hear that, they're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? If you don't like it, don't play it. It's been the mindset for a while, and we've gone away from that. Well, I hope this video finds you well, and I'll continue making these. Hopefully get those out on a decent time schedule. Until next time, peace.